Hi everyone, welcome to the 40. This is a game I've been working on for about a year now, and I'm really excited to have you guys play it. Let's talk a little bit about what you'll need to do to get started. The game comes with 4 decks: a coin deck, a treasure deck, a hideout deck, and a thieves deck. The thieves deck is used for advanced play, and all the instructions of how to use it are in the instruction manual, but for your first game you'll want to kind of put it aside. I tried to build the game with some mechanics around it where as you get better at it you can add more and more cards and the strategies change a little bit. As part of that, for your first game you want to remove a couple of cards. You want to remove the Palace, the Bazaar, and the Rook cards out of the deck shown here. They're really powerful and hard to manage if you've never played the game before. So if you're just playing, or if you're playing like a 2-player game, pull those aside and put them on the table. What you'll want to do first as part of playing the game is hand out the coin cards. These are the tribute cards that you may have seen in the instructions. They're used to offer bids to Alibaba. The treasure cards will land in the middle of the table, and you'll be using these coin cards to offer tribute to Alibaba. They come in 0, 1, 5, and 10 denominations, and you'll use the 0 cards and the 1 cards to bluff and pretend like you have a higher offering than you normally would have. And we'll get to that more in a minute. For each player, you're going to hand out a couple of these denominations. You're going to hand out 2 of the 10 cards, 3 of the 5 cards, 4 of the 1 cards, if I'm slow and haven't done it yet, 4 of the 1 cards, and then 5 of the 0 cards. This is the total amount of coin cards that you get for the whole game, so you'll want to be really careful about how you use them and how you bluff with them. And there's a bunch of mechanics around that you can read more about in the instruction manual, but for now, those are the cards that will be dealt to every player, and each player will have those for the remainder of the game. So to begin the game, you're going to want to draw a hideout card. In this case, we drew the sewers, and the sewers has you draw 5 treasure cards. 3 of them will be placed face up, and 2 of them will be placed face down, and all of that is on the card. So the first 2 cards we pull are really good. Yellow cards generally are good for the player that are actively pulling them. The green cards are more aggressive. They're attacking cards that you can use to steal treasure cards from other opponents. The face down cards adds a little bit of randomness to it, where you may want to pick them because they can be really good, or they may be a red treasure card, which is actually negative for the player. And we'll get into that in a little bit. The next thing you do after the treasure cards are down is take a look at your hand and figure out what you want to offer to Alibaba for this round. You may want to offer a little or a lot. It depends on what's shown there at the bottom. The offering is really important. In this case, these cards are really good. So I am going to put down an offering of 10. Both players put the cards down on the count of 3 at the same time, and then you pick one at a time by the player that has the least number of cards down on the table. So you want to take turns placing your offering. In this case, I'm saying that I have an offering of 10. My wife is saying that she has an offering of 2. In that case, neither player is accusing the other one of bluffing, but my offering is higher. So in that case, I'm going to get first pick of the treasure. If no one's accusing the other player of lying based on their offering, then they all get mucked. The cards go to the pile, and no one has to show if they were actually bluffing or not. For me, the golden elephant is the best card on here. It's worth 50,000, which is the value at the end of the game that'll determine who the winner is. And then from there, you take turns picking the cards in order of who had the highest offering for that round. In this case, both Jenny and I had equal offerings, and no one was out of the round by having an accusation. But unfortunately, she drew an upside down card that was red negative. You can see that that's a red card. You can kind of see with the glare on the table. You can see that it's a negative card, so that ultimately that card said that she needed to forfeit a treasure card, which is then going into the discard pile. The last face down card was really good. It's the highest value card in the game, and in this case, I was lucky enough to pull it as part of the rotation that we had. And that's it. That's the end of that round. The treasure has been taken, the offerings have been discarded, and you start a new round. You flip the next hideout card, and then the next hideout card will tell you how many total cards that you'll have available in order to use for the rest of the game. Bluffing is a really important part of the 40, and I'll show a version of that here. In this case, we put our offerings down, and I offer 30. I'm sorry, my wife is offering 30, and then she basically has to show them because I said that I didn't believe her. In this case, she was lying. She only had 1 and 2 zeros, a total offering of 1. In that case, if you accuse someone of bluffing and you find out that you were right, you actually get to take one of their treasure cards. Treasure cards are really important, and it's important to know how you play them. In this case, I have a green treasure card, the black powder, which lets me destroy one of my wife's treasure cards. In this case, I play it and dictate I want to destroy her treasure cards. The deck has some counter cards, things you can play in response to attacking cards like this one. My wife has the mirror shield there at the bottom, and she can play that to basically reverse the attacking card back on me. So instead of me destroying one of her treasure cards, she actually gets to destroy one of my treasure cards. Knowing when and when not to play treasure cards is really important and a big part of the strategy in this game. The ending of the game is very simple. At the end of 5 rounds, you'll have a collection of treasure cards that you'll add up to get a total value at the end. In this case, I have particular cards that have high values. The golden elephant and the amulet are worth 150,000, and then a couple of treasure cards that have abilities. If you have treasure cards that have abilities, they're natively worth $5,000 whether you use them or not. And so in this case, I have 160,000 treasure that I'll have at the end of the game. My wife has much less than that. She has something like 115, and in that case, because I have the highest value, I won the game. Thank you all very much for watching this tutorial, and I hope you have fun playing the 40.